It has over 221,800 islands, only about 1,000 of which are inhabited. A jellyfish melts in the sun because it's 95% water. Talk about cucumbers. In 2012, twin girls Amy and Katie were born 87 days apart. They're now in the Guinness World Records for the longest gap between the birth of twins. All pandas in the world's zoo belong to China. If you see a giant panda at a zoo, you can be sure it's just a guest there. If you were to watch every video on YouTube, you'd have to spend 1,000 years on that, and then about 1,000 times more because of all the new videos that would appear by then. A mouse's bones are so flexible, it can fit into a ballpoint pen-size hole. If you cage one, make sure the grid is small enough. The most popular language in the world is not English, and by far. The title belongs to Mandarin Chinese, with over 1 billion speakers around the globe. The record for the longest-lasting hiccups belongs to a man named Charles Osborne. He had this condition for 69 years straight. Human fingers are extremely sensitive as an evolutionary perk. If your fingertips were the size of Earth, you'd feel the difference between a one-story house and a car. China is home to the most bicycles in the world. However, the most bike-friendly city is Copenhagen in Denmark. A giraffe's tongue is so long, the animal can clean its own ears with it, which it does every so often. I am jealous. A hummingbird's heart beats at an average rate of 1,200 beats per minute. That's 20 beats per second. Only about 86% of the world's adult population can read, and is considered a huge leap forward compared to half a century ago. Lobsters, due to their cold-blooded nature, can come back to life after being frozen and thawed again. And they are delicious. Just saying. Prairie dogs kiss each other to say hi. Aww. Facebook can qualify as a country of its own. Today, there are over 2 billion people using it, which is more than the population of the US, China, and Brazil combined. Africa is a challenger, though. By 2050, it's estimated to grow to 2.3 billion people living there. During a flight on an airplane, our sense of smell and taste is 20 to 50% lower than usual. That's why the food on board doesn't seem delicious. Japan is home to the oldest hotel in the world. It's been welcoming guests since 705 CE. French was the official language of England for about 450 years. In 1066, William the Conqueror, who was of the French origin, brought the language to the country. Some of the first graffiti of the similar kind we have today appeared in Pompeii. They date back almost 2,000 years. The full name of Oz, from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, was actually Oscar Zoroaster Friedrich Isaac Norman Henkel Emmanuel Ambrose Diggs. Yeah, I can see why he shortened it to Oz. Less keystrokes. Cows are highly social creatures, and they even have best buddies they spend most of their time together with. They become upset if they get separated, too. In case you didn't notice, goats have rectangular pupils, and they're the only animals with such an eye structure. There's archaeological evidence of an extinct penguin species that was about 6 feet tall. Imagine a penguin looking at you straight in the eye. Hey, nice ducks. You too, pal. It rains diamonds on Jupiter and Saturn. This happens because methane turns into carbon, which then hardens to become graphite and eventually diamond. High heels were originally menswear. In ancient Egypt, butchers wore them to avoid blood on the floor. Dogs don't see the world in shades of gray. In fact, they can see colors, just fewer of them than people. The name of the man who invented cotton candy was William Morrison. He was a dentist. There's a thunderstorm in Venezuela that occurs every year and lasts for about 140 to 160 nights. It even has a name, Catatumbo. Michelangelo couldn't stand painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling so much that he even wrote a poem about it. Ever got chills from listening to your favorite track? It's because your brain reacts to it by releasing dopamine, the happiness hormone. Figures. You probably know that tomatoes are technically berries, right? Well, bananas, peppers, and eggplants are too. John Cage, an avant-garde composer, wrote the longest musical piece in history. It's supposed to be played as slowly as possible, and it's estimated to take 639 years to play to the end. Black belt in martial arts, such as karate, translates from Japanese as first step. That's because achieving the black belt is just literally the first stage of mastering the art, with much more to come yet. Charlie Chaplin once entered a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest and lost it. The same happened with Dolly Parton almost 100 years later, in 2012. Mark Zuckerberg is red and green colorblind. That's why he designed Facebook in shades of blue. That's the color he can see best. Horseshoe crabs have a total of 10 eyes, 2 of which are located